Noah says, where y'all at?
I know. Look, tell her, look, I just pressed go. All right.
Noah says, where y'all at?
Here we go. Here we go. Look, I just pressed go. All right, so we're live now.
Okay.
Yes, we are live. And so I just want to thank everybody for joining us for the Bright Girls in Business podcast. I am back, and I'm really excited to bring my very first guest since coming back. Here we go. Here we go. Hold on. What's going on?
Feedback.
I'm getting like some feedback here. All right, so we're live. Hold on.
Now.
Hold on. Let's make sure this is all right. Here we go.
Yay.
Okay, now I got rid of the feedback as we get through these technical difficulties. Now, if you're live and you are watching us, you just gonna have to work through the technical difficulties, okay? Because this is my first time going live to Zoom like this. So we're just gonna have fun, and this is gonna be a candid and casual conversation. So just join in. Make sure that you hit us in the chat if you have any questions, comments, or anything like that. But again, my name is Chanelle, and I am the host of the Bright Girls in Business show. I'm also the owner and CEO of BrightGirl Media, which is a digital marketing agency. And I do a couple other things that you all will learn along the way. So just stick with us as we talk. But without further ado, I'm really, really excited to bring a colleague of mine to the forefront and to the platform. Her name is Kimon Campbell. And I'm just going to read her bio because I'm sitting here looking and I'm like, this girl, she got it going on with this bio. So it says, Kimon is an accomplished, proactive, results-driven, and detail-oriented professional with 20 years of combined experience. 20 years?
It's right. It's right. It's a little bit more. It's right.
Come on, you need to stop. You are not 20 years old worth of.
I got 17 last weekend. They said I was 17. Somebody said, you're 17, aren't you? No, I'm not even going to tell my age, but yeah.
Oh my God.
Years,
no, I'm like 20 years. But okay, 20 years of combined experience in business development, strategic planning, budgeting, and operations. With many years of education, her only eventual path will be making this experience benefit her own successful business. And that is what we are here to talk about today. We are going to talk about her very successful real estate investing business where she invests in AirBNB properties. And so Kimon is from, now tell me the name of this city in Jamaica that you're from, Kimon.
This is my very proud city, Trelawney, Jamaica.
Trelawney, okay.
The country bush.
Where is that? Like, where is it on the island?
First of all, thank you so much for having me on, Chanelle. I am so proud of you. This is awesome. I'm so happy that you're finally doing your podcast, and I'm honored to be your first guest. You're doing awesome things. I know you're going to be a superstar even more than you are now. Let's get that out the way. Okay. Okay, so Trelawney is a hill, a mountain town in the middle of Jamaica, in the middle of the island. If you're traveling along the coastline, you just head up into the hills. It's cool, it's clean, fresh air. That's where I grew and my roots started. Very proud of that.
So I've never been to Jamaica yet. One day I plan to go. But every time I think of Jamaica, I just like imagine myself having this grand time and like you said, this fresh air and just openness and water and fun and drinks and food.
Yes.
And,
yes. So
maybe one day you'll have to take me to.
Yeah, of course. We'll have a team trip there.
Yes. Ooh, that'll be fun. We take everybody. So I'm going to just hop right on in because, and I'll tell everybody a little bit of the background of how I know you is through Noel Randall Coaching. So Kimon and I are both master coaches in the Noel Randall Coaching program. And we met about maybe this past summer, right?
Summer, yes, yes.
Yeah, around the summer. And we've been working together ever since. And I've been impressed with Kimone's story because she really took this thing and ran with it when it comes to real estate investing. And so I really wanted to bring her on because I wanted to illustrate the power of really like believing in yourself and taking action and getting out here and making it win, making wins for yourself. And so, come on, tell us a little bit about your background, like your corporate background, what you did before, what you're doing now.
Okay. So I started off after grad school, I started off in Macy's, Burdines at the time in Florida, and got moved up to New York. I think I probably worked in the workforce about maybe 8 years. And in New York, it was awesome. I love New York. I got offered a position in Kingston, Jamaica, and I really wanted to go home. So I went home in 2008 and worked for a retailer again as their manager of buying, planning, and merchandising for their 5 locations on the island. And my sea legs called me. So I tried out for Royal Caribbean and got accepted as a revenue manager. I was in charge of the ship making money. So when you go to the casino, when you go to the spa, when you go to the retail shops, that's all me. Spend, please spend. So I was in charge of the managers of each of these areas on the ship, and we had goals to make money per ship. And of course, I've been on the giant, massive ones where I got to make $3 million per cruise, or the very small ones where I only have to make $300,000 per cruise. So it was a great experience. I saw the world. The only place I probably didn't see was Asia and the Russian areas, and did that for 5 years and decided that, well, I bought a property in Orlando and I came here. I bought it as an investment. I came here and fell in love with the place. So I just decided to stay. I just called the bosses in Miami and said, hey, I'll see you soon, or maybe not. So, no, in a nice way, in a good way, don't burn bridges. So I decided to just stay in Orlando. And when I came here, I like to make money. And I wanted to know the area. So I was doing Uber and Lyft and just to get out and see everywhere. And I found Noelle Randall coaching in about 2 months after. And in a year, it's been a whirlwind and everything moved so fast, and started my business 2 months after I came back. So I was away for 10 years from the US. I came back and in 2 months I started a business, and in a year I was at a 5-figure salary. So it was a good thing I did by saying goodbye to the past and just getting up and going and just doing what you're supposed to do.
I love that. I love it. I'm gonna tell you why I love all of what you just said. It's because I see so many people that, they get a job. I mean, I would think, I don't know, I haven't lived on a cruise ship or worked on a cruise ship, but I mean, I would think that would be kind of fun, right? Like you said, you get to see all these different places, and
yes.
You're managing and you're leading and all that good stuff, and that could be an easy place to kind of just lay your head and kind of, I don't want to say get stuck, but get comfortable, right?
Yes. Oh, yes. Many people do.
Yeah, I could totally see that. Like, I could totally see me just like sailing away and living it up. And I say that laughing because most people that watch this probably already have heard a part of my story and know that I was a flight attendant. And so I thought that about that too. But I know that the travel industry is completely different when you're actually working in it. But still, I mean, from what you just said and your successes and where you've been, that's an easy place to kind of like, just kind of
do this forever.
But like for you to say, oh, I just walked away, like, okay, bye. So what was it, something else there that where you were just kind of like, this is it?
Oh yeah, there was a huge thing that happened in my life at the time. My mom passed away about a year before I left the cruise lines, and she was a hustler, and it's weird because when your mom's gone, that was your mom. She kind of had your back and she did everything, and you do my taxes and do everything. And then I realized, oh, I am probably gonna have to be the mom now. And she was a hustler. She worked 2 days a week if she wanted to. She always had something doing on the side. and always making money, always making 6-figure salaries, did a lot of investments, bought property, all these things that I could have been doing, but the ship life was so easy and fast and nicely paid. And I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. Tried to start a few businesses before, but always ended up back in the corporate world because, it's there. And let me just get a job, let's just get a job. But you realize that you are just an employee. You don't have anything special, and you want something for yourself special where you can take off if you want to. So my mom's passing, her being a hustler, me wanting to become somebody like her who could just, she's 65, 70, and she's traveling the world and on cruise lines, just going on vacations because she already have made good investments. That's what I wanted to be. So I decided I'm just gonna get out of here and just become my mom. And that was what drove me, and the fact that I really wanted to be an entrepreneur from I knew myself from in grad school when I was 21. I wanted to be an entrepreneur. So finally, at my age, finally, I wish I'd started 10 years ago. I keep telling people I wish I'd found this coaching program, and YouTube University was around back then, because I would be Noelle Randall right now. Right?
I'm telling you, I say the same thing. I'm like, if I knew just 5 years ago, if I knew what I know now, y'all wouldn't even know me. I probably wouldn't even be on YouTube right now. Well, I might, but I might have like a full-on camera crew and be doing like the Oprah, Meghan Markle type stuff,
But they say everything
whatever.
Honestly, they say everything in its time. Yeah. So I made peace with it and accepted that. And that was my time. And I'm sorry I said 5 figures. I mistakenly said that. It's 6. Just
look, I'm not gonna month.
Sometimes you just become so modest with these things. No. You want people to know that it's 6. You can do that in a year. You can do that in a year if you put your foot down. So when I joined her program, I was still running Uber and Lyft and building IKEA furniture because I wanted to have the free time to be able to do and work on my business and work 3 days a week and still pay my bills and also build my business at the same time.
So, okay. So let's take a step back real quick. So you left the cruise ship industry. You moved to Orlando, and then you were doing Uber, Lyft, and IKEA furniture.
Building IKEA furniture. I was a task rabbit.
Wow. Okay. So you were like, you saw the vision, you got out there, you decided, hey, I'm about to hustle and grind this out until I can get to my next place.
Yes. And honestly, I had savings. I just don't like to go into my savings to pay the bills. So I wanted to always have funding coming in to take care of all that, to take care of the regular month mortgage and light bills and all that, So it's not something that I had to do. It's just something that I needed to do just to keep my sanity. I needed to keep busy. And so I spent half the week working on the business and half the week burning the streets and building stuff. I could literally put together a whole IKEA closet for you if you wanted.
Wow. That's right. She said
2 drills in my hand.
Wow. Well, I'm sure that's come in handy now with
definitely.
Airbnb, definitely. Right?
Mm-hmm. I can put together all my furniture if I want to, but I don't. I hire somebody.
That's smart. That's being the CEO of your business. That's a tip, y'all. She just dropped something on you. Be the CEO of your business. You don't have to do it all. Hire other people to do it. Maximize your time. That's smart business.
Yeah. Remember, your time, you're worth a certain amount per hour now, right?
Yeah.
Not IKEA paid.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So walk me through the shift to get you to the coaching program, and what was the moment or the aha that made you say, you know what, I really need to invest in myself in this way? Because it sounds like you already were successful. You already had a plan. You already were doing stuff. What caused that shift?
I wouldn't say that I was already successful. I was still just running around looking for something. You're out there. I was going to meetup groups. I was going to real estate group meetings and trying to find a path or find somebody, who will really help you invest in yourself and care about you developing as a business entrepreneur. So I went to all these meetings and I finally found, I just went to a meetup with Noelle Randall, and honestly, I was like that. She will tell you I was like the quiet one in the back, just kind of peering over everybody else. I'm short. But when following that, because of how great the meetup was, I went to the 3-day event, and what I learned there was so beneficial. I could start my business on the Monday after, and everything would have been fine. But there's a difference between starting it on your own and then just having somebody who cares to show you the way. And it's not going to be free, right? These are millionaires, right? Um, she has a program, not that she can get on the phone with you all the time or ever, but you have a program that somebody else she has used to become successful herself. So I've done it so many times before where you've tried to start a business and you just never get anywhere because there's so many things that you need to know. And I'm sure a lot of people use this method, but don't say that, hey, they do have a friend who teaches them everything. They do have a family member who teaches them everything, but that's not usually the case. That's about 10%. Let's say the 1%. Guidance, okay? Yeah. So why not pay to become the 1%? Pay for 1% to show you how it's really done and quickly. That's what's the surprising thing was how fast it worked out with just your dedication. You know, I have students now, and it's the ones who are really dedicated and really working every day towards their business that really are successful. So that shift was I'm done trying by myself. I'm just gonna get somebody else to show me the way. Yeah. I mean, that's what we did in college, right? That's what we did in high school. That's what we went to college to learn the way. And this is the other way. This is the way too. So pay for it, just like I paid for college. And it was way cheaper.
That's right. And that's the thing that about coaching, you know, I always tell people on social media and anybody that I meet, whatever, is that coaching really is the cheat code. It's like I have made so many stupid mistakes in business. I've been in business now for 9 years. And I just think of some of the stuff that I've done, and I'm like, man, Chanelle, you could have been way farther along if you weren't so prideful trying to figure this thing out on your own. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of it is that. So you and I, you know we get on these coaching calls or these strategy sessions, and we talk to people about their goals and their dreams, and they really, you know, some people even are moved to tears when they start talking about it. So you know that they really want it, but it's like, do you really want it enough to invest in yourself and believe in yourself to the point of, you know, putting your money where your mouth is? And that's really where I think that's where that separates the real from the fake, if you will. Right. And so the fact that you did that, so okay, so you get in the coaching program, you're learning from Noelle, and then so give me the time frame of when you were in the coaching program.
Okay. So I joined the coaching program in end of September. So say October. I think October 11th was our first class. And within the next week, I'm in module 1, starting my business, getting it registered, and putting the structure in place as directed, right? Just do what they said to do. And I just did it. And started building my business credit. Within 6 weeks, I had my first business credit card because I had, because when you have history with your current bank, they will more, and this was pre-COVID, so everything was a free-for-all. So
free-for-all.
So in November, I hit the road. I started working on my wholesale part of the business and started pulling my probate. I was on the court systems every day, working and pulling information, sending out letters. November, I hit the road for AirBNB and started to view a lot of properties. December, I got a yes, but that yes required me to have 3 months of bank statements. And I'd only had one. So I ended up, because I knew I wanted to really do the Airbnb, I ended up going back to the ship for a few weeks at a time while I was building business credit and continuing to study the course. I don't tell the ship, but I printed a lot of this material. This is my study. I printed a lot of this material on the cruise ship. So I went back. I'll tell them, they're not watching.
Right. Thank God for those jobs, because I've done the same thing.
Don't do that, guys. Don't do that. So I was on the ship because I live near to Port Canaveral. So I said, hey, if you want some help, I'll drop in and I'll do a few weeks at a time. And my second few weeks at a time was a week before or 2 weeks before about February 9th, you started hearing about this COVID business. And I decided, all right, I'm getting off, because from you hear people saying pandemic, I'm like apocalypse now kind of person. I think the worst is gonna happen. You know, I'm a zombie apocalypse person. I love horror movies. So I heard pandemic and I'm like, all right, I'm out. And it seems something really awesome happened when you say you're done. Yeah, I got off and I said, all right, I'm done. I'm so done. And as you say something like that, the next day I got my first yeses again. And everything was approved. I went to another property. They said, because the first property I was actually trying to go with signed with somebody else for 10 properties. So they were trying to feel it out. And while I was waiting for my business accounts to catch up. So I lost that one. But the next one that I went to, what I had in mind, they said, yeah, here's 2 properties. And so March, it took me from October to March, took me 4 months, October, November, December, January, February, yep, about 5 months. But it was only because I had to wait those 3 months for the business accounts to catch up. In the meantime, I was still working on the probate. I got some deals, did some wholesaling, and got into the 2 Airbnbs. On about March 11th, I moved in, and March 16th, the world collapsed.
Oh, wow.
Everything shut down.
Oh my God. When you said March 11th, I already was like, okay. Because I remember March 13th, that was the last day I was like fully outside. I remember it like it was yesterday. I know exactly what I did that day. It was raining. Ain't that crazy? Like I remember where I was and what I did. I know what I ate that day. Everything. So when you said March 11th, I'm like, oh, I know what's about to happen.
Yeah.
So talk about that. Okay. So wow.
Yeah.
So you start your business so that was 2019.
October.
2019. It takes you a couple months to get up and running. This is really getting phenomenal for me. Okay, so you get this up and running in a couple months, and you get this property in March. I mean, this is a travel, right? This is Airbnb. So
Airbnb.
You know, nobody was traveling for like 2 months or so, right? So how did you?
Florida shut down on March 16th. And luckily I had been ordering because I knew I was getting the property in March 11th. So between the first 2 weeks, I was shopping like crazy online. Everything was shipping. When they shut down, I probably already received half my stuff. And then, of course, everything slowed down. So it took me about 2 weeks to get the rest of the items. And I was one of those people out there when they said everybody lock up, because I was like, what am I going to do? I got to go receive the items outside the property. So I have to say, you know, things are always going to happen, you know, but you got to kind of keep your head on your shoulders and know that your goal is right there. And even though everywhere is locked down, I am still working my butt off. I'm not going to say, oh, okay, it's going to be another month, so I don't have to go and furnish this property. I can just get this stuff and dump them in. No, I furnished everything, got my pictures taken. Those 3 weeks, people were locked to their TV. No, I was not locked to my TV. My mindset was, hey, get these places up and going, pictures done. By the end of March, April week 2, it was completely set up, pictures done, loaded. And luckily I had it for like a month free rent in the beginning. So I didn't really have to worry about losing that much. I think I lost maybe about $500 because it was a reduced rent. They split it between months. And I I just held tight. That was all I was thinking about. What COVID, what pandemic, what stay at home. Cops are on the street. I don't care. I'm running. If they ask me anything, I have a lease for that property. I live here. I'm just traveling between my property, my 2 places I live, you know? So I had an excuse for everything as to why I'm outside on the street. So I got everything up and running and lost only 2 weeks of revenue. And lo and behold, May 1st, they opened back everywhere and I was fully booked. Why was I fully booked? Because I did everything Airbnb told me to do. Yes.
Because you were ready.
Yes.
Oh, girl, do you not know like that?
Yep.
That is amazing. Come on. Like, I don't think so. Let's rewind. Look, I gotta let the viewers really kind of sit in that moment. Okay. Because I've talked to so many business owners throughout this pandemic, and I had clients in the beginning that had just signed on with me, probably around the time that you signed on with your apartment. And as soon as the pandemic hit, they were like cutting and running and ripping up contracts and, you know, in a frenzy, and they couldn't see their way clear. but I love what you said, like pandemic, what I'm doing this, like this is, I'm committed to this. I'm going to see this through.
Yeah.
And then to get to May 1st. And so, okay, you're already booked up. This is crazy to
'Cause
me.
everybody who was locked up in the house wanted to get away.
Boom.
And because I was, I mean, Airbnb, they're technically my boss too. So whatever they said I should do, I did it. If they said, make sure it's a 24-hour cancellation, I did it. You had so many hosts out there doing this and you're arguing with Airbnb and threatening class action lawsuits and all kind of garbage. This is your boss. This is like your livelihood. You want to be prepared for when they're ready again so that you'll be the first. So I think that because I just did whatever they say to do, and they just bumped me up in the searches. So I was fully booked. Even though I had to reduce my rates just to get some bookings, it was still fine because I covered the bills for the first 3 to 6 months. The bills were covered.
Wow.
So you have to kind of stick to your plan. Doesn't matter what comes up, you can deal with that. I dealt with it. I stayed home when I needed to stay home. I wore my mask. It's not like I disrespected the situation. I didn't. I just managed it the same way I needed to manage the rest of my life. I didn't sit home watching Netflix for 5 months. No. If I was, and as a matter of fact, at the same time, I also got my real estate agent license. I studied for the exam during those 3 months. Just so, because that's not me sitting on the couch watching news and salivating.
I can tell you, look, no moss grows under your feet.
Yeah.
Okay?
Prepare yourself. Always think the best and prepare yourself. When money was given away, I only had 6 months in my business. I can't even tell you how much money I got from all the sources of funding that were given out during PPP. It'll be too much for people to hear. And I was only a 6-month-old business. Yeah. But I did everything that I was supposed to do in the course, like build your business credit, set your business up properly, do transactions, do certain things that they tell us in the course. And my business was prepared because I was ready. I set it up. I was able to show them income. I was able to show everything. I was projecting everything. And a lot of businesses, unfortunately, didn't even know. That was one of the things that I really regret over the pandemic. There wasn't a lot of people sharing this information with a lot of businesses. And you would ask them 2 months after I got my money, I would ask them, did you get some PPP? And they were like, what PPP? Like, what were you doing during COVID? Watching Netflix? They didn't talk about PPP on Netflix.
You know what? Like when you told me your story and you were telling me about like how you were getting money and this and that, I'm like, what is going on? Because I feel like I applied for some of everything, and I mean grants and loans and this and that, and they were like,
I tell you what.
So I just grinded it out. So I was just like, I was like you in the fact that I was like, come hell or high water, I'm here, and there is no plan B. We are going forward. And so that, I think that's the lesson for any entrepreneur, but especially here. Once you commit to something and you say that this is what you're going to do, you walked away from your job. I walked away from my job. Ain't no turning back. It's like,
right.
do or die at this point. And so when you really put your mind and your focus and your heart to it, and you say, look, this is it. This is my plan A through Z. You have no other way but to make it work.
Right. So, and work alongside everything else going on. It's got to work alongside everything else going on. A lot of things might come up, not just a pandemic. Family things might come up. Just any other issues might happen. Health issues might happen. But still, you still have to keep your mind on the plan,
I love
I learned a lot to not take no for an answer as well during those periods. There was a lot of no's from everything I applied for. But I picked up the phone and I stayed on hold for 45 minutes to an hour. And then I got on and said, you're giving me this money.
Oh, I love it.
I was affirmative. You're assertive. You're giving me this money. I'm not even going to argue with you. You're just going to give it to me. I'm going to tell you why. And I told them why. And even though I didn't even have much history, you still tell them why. I said, I've been operating for a month. I got these properties in March. My business opened in October. And I'm fully booked this month. I only have 2 weeks of income to show you, but I know I'm going places. I'm going to add a third in September. I'm going to add a fourth in December. And I need this funding to be able to make sure I'm a success during this pandemic and after. And I think that was what they believed, is your affirmativeness about what you want to do and what you want to be. That's what they believed in.
Wow. So I want to lean in there, because 2 things you said that stuck out to me is, one, I'm not taking no for an answer. So look, you're gonna have to come up off of this one way or another. You're gonna have to do what I want you to do. And your confidence. I think that so many times, as women in business, I watch and I watch energy, even as I'm coaching. I've had to send messages to the women that I coach that I haven't had to send to the men that I coach, and really like pour into that mindset that, hey, like you that chick, you better stand on what what it is that you want and be affirmative about this. And then, once you're convinced and once you know it, other people will know it and they will show up and they will respond to what you're putting out there. So I love that I mean, because listen, I was not sitting on the phone. First of all, I hate red tape. And so that's probably half the reason why I didn't get involved with PPP. Because once you tell me I gotta fill out all these papers, and I'm like, is this worth my time?
Everything.
So, I
told how many documents I went and registered for whatever they were asking me to register for. And going back to you talking about having to do certain things for the women, what you don't have to do for the men. I think it goes back to just us believing that we deserve as much as anybody has or any man has. We deserve everything. You deserve it. And it's about waking up and believing in it. And I think that's one of the main things I learned from Noelle's. And I tell people, don't skip over module 1, because a lot of it is about mindset. A lot of it is about your millionaire mindset and believing that you deserve to be a millionaire. And once you have that set up, nothing can stop you. And I think that's what I kind of ran into the whole first 6 months was nothing is, you're not going to stop me. We had so much pushback from the company where I rented, and we solved it all. I did presentations about how we're going to take care of their business. I brought more people in. I have received no referral fees for these, but I brought people in. Now, like 3 or 4 of us have about 14 properties between us all. They'll never get rid of us. So there's always a solution to problems and objections. And once you believe in it and have the confidence, good to go. You're good to go.
I love that. Just knowing that you are worthy, right? That's huge. That's huge. I see guys walk into a room and if any guys are watching, I love y'all. But sometimes they can be like mediocre, okay? And I'm sitting there like I had a way better idea, or I could do this 10 times better than them. And they'll walk into a room like, oh yeah, and they just command it, whatever. And then we're there like, oh, can I? It's like, no, stop asking for permission.
Yes.
And tell these people what you want and stand firm and move forward.
Get up off your butt and walk right beside him. Yeah, Model into the room, just lay right beside him.
Man, so tell me before we wrap up, because I know we're kind of getting into the our time here. Tell us about your properties. Where are they? What what? I want to know. I want to get nosy now.
Now I'm up to 4 properties. They're all in the same building in Kissimmee, Florida, and having a hard time keeping them empty, which is not the goal, of course. Sometimes you want to go in and do a little maintenance. You can't even get a break, which is awesome. But yeah, they're in Kissimmee. They're by Disney World. They're all featured on my website, adasahomes.com, if anybody wants to check it out. And now I'm looking to expand. So that's 4, and I'd like to expand to at least 10 by the end of the year. That's they're 1 bedroom, 1 bathrooms, beautifully decorated. And I've had awesome reviews from people who are so happy with it. And sometimes I think I overprice them per night, but then they come in and they see what they really get. And it's automated check-in, and you have a sofa bed, you have nice furnishings, you have a couple of bottles of waters, more than some hotels give you, some snacks when you come. All white bathroom. We pride ourselves on everything being in white because white shows you how clean it is. It's not like going into a hotel room and it's a blue comfort and you don't even know what's in there. You can tell that the property is significantly clean when you walk in. We follow the COVID guidelines as to maintaining accommodations, lodging for people, and make sure that we have great cleaners. They also live in the same building, which is they really cut my costs significantly. They live in the same building. So really I'm trying to get more in those buildings because everybody's right there and we have storage and a garage storage and everything. So yeah.
Wow. Okay. And you did all this in the pandemic.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh,
Man.
That's what I want y'all to know. Like, if you are out there and you want to start a business, or you've been
Yeah.
thinking about real estate, or you've been thinking about whatever, and you are waiting on this pandemic to end, I just literally got off the phone with somebody earlier, and I told her, I said, I got to do this now. I can't wait for the world to open up, because when the world opens up, it'll be too late. I need people in my pipeline right now.
Yeah. Because
Wow.
right now it's so hard to open a business. Everybody's trying to open a business now because no, everybody's out of a job. So everything's backed up. When you try to get an EIN, it's like months and it's crazy. I'm like, you should have been prepared during, like, when the pandemic first started, that's when you should have started your business. I tell you about a friend of mine. She has, I got her a few units in the same building I'm at, and she texted me this past weekend. She's like, we got to celebrate. This is my first $20,000 month.
Wow.
And she when she had her 4 properties before, right when the pandemic started, she had to refund people and everything, and she got 3 more during the pandemic. She hung in there. She hung in there. She paid whatever, even if she wasn't getting booked, she still paid the bills. She did what she was supposed to do. And she's like, it's been a year when waiting, but finally $20,000 this month in profit for her 7 properties.
Woo! Good
That's
for
where we're
her. Good for her. Good for her.
and this
Y'all
month
look, y'all gonna make me come down to Kissimmee and get some space in that building. We're gonna have a whole building in a
You
minute.
don't even have to. Texas is an awesome market. I hear so many awesome things about Texas right now, especially with Airbnb. And you should see their Airbnbs on their pictures. Beautiful stuff.
It is. Texas is good. It's different though, because I mean, you're there. You're in Mickey Land, so people are
Yes.
always traveling in and out of there. I mean, people travel in and out of
Ears.
Dallas. It's different. So
How about my Mickey ears? So promote.
yes. So I don't see any questions in the chat. I'm going to give people a chance to ask questions. But in the meantime, if y'all are watching and y'all are live and y'all have any questions for Kimon, please go ahead and put them in the chat, because I want to make sure that you get your questions answered. But if you could tell somebody who is kind of toying around with the idea of starting a business, or even, really the Airbnb business, what's 2 to 3 things or pieces of advice that you would give them, like in hindsight, that you could give them now?
Oof, that's a hard one. In hindsight, okay. Get somebody to show you how to do it. It's the easiest way to go. Get some coaching. Even if you don't want to spend on coaching, go on YouTube. There's a lot of educational material that teaches you how to do it, and you learn from a lot of people commenting. There's a lot of Airbnb groups out there, so many. Look for properties in places where there is just like a Disney. There is something that's a huge feature. That's something that draws people there. Miami, anywhere in Florida at this point, and the west coast of Florida is going crazy right now because everybody's vacating on that side rather than the east coast that is already packed. So location, as is the same in any real estate venture. Location, right? And clean it yourself the first month. That's not even in hindsight. Clean it yourself. Manage everything yourself. Even if you get a property manager, make sure you know what you're doing, because I cleaned my properties, 2 of them, this first 2, in the first month and a half. I was on my knees, scrubbing floors, taking up every piece of hair I found. And now when I have cleaners, I know what, and I train my cleaners, I know what to tell them to do. I know how it works. I know what it's supposed to do. I know when I see something, I see a rice grain on the carpet, I know you didn't vacuum. So, and it makes your eyes kind of, it just makes you more able to identify when things are wrong, when you know how the process works. So there's a lot of people who are trying to buy a lot of vacation properties and putting a property manager on it. Even if you can come to the area that you bought it in and stay there for a few weeks and manage it yourself and clean it yourself and see how it really happens, that would be the best thing for the success of your business. Because now you know what the guest is saying. And I definitely have to credit Royal Caribbean, even though I did not I wasn't a cleaner or anything, but I saw how they cleaned the hotel room. I saw how they put a towel on a rack, I saw how they did those little those towel animals on the bed. and I saw how they cleaned. Like we used to have to check rooms sometimes and see, look with a fine tooth, just look really with a fine eye and make sure everything's clean. So that kind of prepared me for this hospitality. I can tell you, I never thought I would be in the hospitality and dealing with guests because guests are, and that's another thing. That's the last thing is you have to learn to talk to people and just know that the customer is always right and be nice and communicate a lot. I mean, if I've had horrible situations in my apartments. One of my apartment was overrun with roaches. When I first got it, there was a roach infestation and I never got a bad review. Like they text me and they sent me pictures. I gave them 20% off and I got a 5-star each time for the first 3 guests that stayed because of the way I communicate with them. I didn't argue with them. Oh, there's no roach there. I was just there. I just got the apartment. I just cleaned it. There's no roach there. I didn't argue. I say, yes, I'm sorry. I apologize. I just got the apartment. We're sending the fumigators soon this week. And they did come already, but they didn't fix everything. I'll give you 20% off your stay. And I've never gotten anything less than a 5. So the way you communicate and deal with bad situations, that's one of the things I learned at Royal as well. How you deal with situations with people, even if they're wrong, just be nice. And they're always right. The customer is always right, and it's not going to kill you to give up $20 when you're making $5,000 a month.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's good. That's good. So we do have a question.
Yes,
awesome.
ma'am.
Okay, so here's the. Oh, hey, Aaron. Hey, Aaron is my friend. So Aaron is asking, how did you secure your first property? That's a good question.
Okay, so when I went in, I told him I was a corporate renter. So that's the argument you go in with. You don't say you're an Airbnb host. You go and you say, I'm a corporate renter. I rent properties for my clients and the business people who come in. And if you're associated with like another company, like at the time I was associated with Miss Randall and her programs and her companies. So I was able to say, yes, I work with this other company and they send me clients all the time. And here's their website. Even though I did have a website set up, I still also use theirs as well, just to showcase that I'm not, just some person out there. Now, you do also have to have a proper business set up. If they ask you, okay, what's your website? What's your business information? What's your EIN? You're going to have to give all this stuff. So to get my first, though, I use myself as they used my credit. They checked my credit. And I had decent credit, so they weren't really worried about it. And then I did have to have the 3 months income. And it was a few conversations I had to have with them because they really, at the beginning, they said, absolutely no Airbnb. And they said it over and over and over again until when I finally decided to get the tool and we talked about it. And I said, these are the benefits of renting to me, especially it was a COVID and people weren't paying their rents. I said, I'll pay the rent monthly. I'll do this. I'll do that. We'll only do this as a short-term thing where we're doing Airbnbs. But, and so they believed in us. And now I'm sure they know what we're up to, but we've done so well with them. So that was how I got it. I just went to like 20 properties in Kissimmee at first and only got 2 that was really into what we're doing. And then fill out their forms and gave my information. They checked my credit and then it was it from there. Yeah. But you have to have the fundamentals set up, like your business set up, everything set up properly. So you look like a professional company.
That's good. I like the fact that you said I went to 20, but I got 2 responses. That goes back to your power of not taking no for an answer. Because most people would get out there and, they get on the phone and they get 5 no's in a row and they're like, oh, this doesn't work. I'm done. I quit, So, man.
I had a student the other day who she had her business set up and we gave her a script just to practice a script that you can call landlords and talk to them. And she was just practicing the script. She wasn't ready at all. Like in her mind, she wasn't really fully ready. And she got on the phone just to practice the script, went on Craigslist, found some for rent by owners, started calling them. And she got a yes. Like she had no expectation of this.
Wow.
And she's now on her 3rd. And she was only a month in the program before she got her first. She got her 2nd already. And she's now on her 3rd and 4th right now. And this is March. She started in November. So she's actually moved faster than I did.
Wow.
And she goes after landlords specifically, not leasing office. I go with leasing office for now. Yeah.
That's awesome. That is awesome. I'm loving it. So if y'all heard nothing else, on this episode with Kimon. You heard don't take no for an answer. You heard about mindset. You heard about, I mean, this girl, she brought the heat today. I gotta say, I'm so glad that you were my first guest because now you made me feel like I'm Oprah, honey, and I'm doing the Meghan Markle interview or something. This was a great time, and you dropped so many nuggets, and it was so many subtle nuggets. That's what I love about it. You wasn't just like, oh, let me preach to the people. You dropped so many subtle nuggets in there. If you are just coming on, or somehow you just found this live, or are you watching a replay, I need y'all to go back to the beginning, and I need y'all to watch it from the beginning because Kimon she dropped some nuggets today.
Thank you.
So come on, how can people find you if they want to work with you, if they want to stay at your properties, all that stuff? Tell us.
Okay, all right. So if you'd like to stay at my properties, you can go to www.adasa, that's ADASA, homes.com. You can fill out a form there. I'll get an email to tell me that you're interested. Adasa was my mom's middle name, so I think she's blessed me significantly this year. And for a long time to come, she'll be blessing me. So that's adasahomes.com, or you can send me an email at Campbell, that's KCAMPBELL at Adasa Properties, ADASA Properties.com.
Awesome. All right, come on. Well, listen, like I said, I have enjoyed having you here. This has been the best. Y'all make sure y'all reach out to Kimon. I know, y'all got kids. Y'all gonna be want to go to Disney this summer. Everybody's gonna want to, get break.
We're open in Florida.
Go stay at Kimon's properties, Adasa Properties, right?
The properties or Adasa Homes.
Or Adasa Homes. Go find her and go stay in one of her beautiful Airbnbs. If I wasn't afraid of trying to do a screen share or something, maybe one day I can figure this out. And I'm so technologically, I'm good at tech, but I'm like, I don't know nothing else. This conversation is so good. I would have shown y'all, but go ahead and look up her properties. They are absolutely gorgeous, y'all. And Kimon, I'm just really proud to know you. So thank you so much for
Likewise, thank you so much for having me on. And I'm so honored again to be your first guest. That's like, oh my God, I told everybody I'm going to be on live. So hopefully they're on here looking.
Hey, you had some friends and family and somebody else on here. Let me see. Hold on. I'm going to tell you so you can
give me some shout out.
Willie Billy. I don't know who Willie Billy is, but he said that you was his sister. He said, come on. That's what he said.
Oh, and my brother Whitman, maybe in Canada, hopefully.
Oh, hey, brother.
I don't know his username, but if he says he's my sister, I'm his sister.
Well, that's who it is. And we got a couple other people on here. Hey, we got Cynthia on here. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
People from the culture programs.
Yes.
So thank y'all for coming on and watching. We'll be back next week. I'm going to have another guest on next week talking about women entrepreneurship and all that jazz. In the meantime, make sure that you go ahead and subscribe to this YouTube channel because I don't want y'all to miss the Bright Girls in Business show that is coming on Mondays at 6 p.m. Central. And also on Wednesdays, every week, I drop a marketing nugget. So y'all need to make sure that y'all are tuned in so that y'all can see all of the bright ideas that come out of this big old head of mine. So, so until next time, be good.